Hello everyone, TheXanatosGaming here, with our next episode in a short and abridged version because of that lost footage that I mentioned a long time ago in the intro, in regards to transitioning us from our Death House adventure in the Curse of Strahd and our Dead by Dungeons and Dragons campaign into the party transitioning into the village of Barovia. So the last time that we saw our party, they were dealing with Mrs. Durst in the family basement. You saw a bit of a villain monologue and a quick dispatch of Elizabeth Durst, as you discovered the hanging body of Mr. Durst there and a suicide note alongside it. They made quick work of her and headed further deep into the dungeon. Upon that descent into the bottom, they could hear that there were now continued and louder chanting, more clear chanting as they got closer to this ritual room. They found a room with a bunch of trinkets and ritual items and things like that, some of which were pocketed, and you might see those popping up in future episodes. Such as like a rat bone knife and, coins and things like that. Upon finding the secret room into the ritual chamber, they were suddenly locked in, and promptly spirits manifested themselves and began to chant, "He is ancient, he is the land," continuing to chant this over and over until someone approached the dais, which they discovered had dried blood and chains and things like that. They were then prompted by a chant of "one must die." After quick discussions amongst themselves, they decided that they were not going to indulge in these cult specters, and suddenly a flesh mound, a writhing mass of flesh and bone mixed with the nasty water in this room, rose and began to enact the cult's revenge. The party declined to sacrifice any of themselves or the puppy in which they had found. Of course, after a barrage of attacks, our gnome, Flib, was eaten by the flesh mound, and after the party, attacking the outside of this flesh mound on the inside, Flib had found a poor little crying babe that was hooked by different flesh bits and connected in tissue to the center of this mound. And a turn later, emerged holding a dead Walter. As they ended, shortly after, they discovered, the remains of the children and buried them in the crypts they had found previously. They earned heroic inspiration for ending the curse in the Death House. They ended the session with Lancelot the dog being alive and not sacrificed and laying the family to rest. Maybe they aren't the bad guys after all. But they followed Lancelot down the pathway towards the village of Barovia, and that will be where our next episode will continue. This is TheXanatosGaming, signing off for our short and abridged version of episode 4 of Dead by Dungeons and Dragons, and we'll catch you on the flip side.